It's tricky to pinpoint exactly when it started, but one event stands out, and I know for sure it progressed from there. I was around 7 and had a favourite soft toy that came with the McDonald's Happy Meals. I can't remember what started it. Maybe I didn't want to share the toy with my brother, I don't know. But I do remember my father taking it away from me, throwing it in the garden and saying he was going to burn it while I slept. That night I didn't sleep. I was so scared that he was going to carry out his threat, I was in tears, trying to sniff by the window, praying I couldn't smell burning. Fast forward to me being in secondary school, I would be terrified of getting a warning sticker in my planner in year 7, because your parents had to sign them, and I didn't know what would happen if I got one. Then we moved and things got a lot worse. Everything I did seemed to annoy him, and if he got really mad, I would be pinned up against the cupboard under the stairs, with him in my face, hissing whatever it was he was saying. The first few times it happened, I cried the entire time and then some, but he wouldn't stop and get out of my face. Then, what I think is the saddest part is that one time I didn't cry because I'd gotten used to it. Like, this is something that's going to happen whether I cry or not. Although in a sense I had gotten used to it, it didn't stop me being fearful every time he got angry. I remember saying to my mum at the bus stop I didn't want to go home because I didn't know what mood he would be in. He would say the same every argument, I don't want to come home because of your attitude, I'm going to cancel my leave and work instead, emotionally manipulating the situation because he knew that I didn't want that. One time he even threatened to get rid of our pets because he was angry at something I did or didn't do. And when he refused to take his medication, he turned to me and said, if I end up in hospital, it'll be your fault. How is a child supposed to deal with that emotional manipulation? Being blamed if something goes wrong medically because of something he didn't do of his own free will. I could handle all of that though. I hated it, but I dealt with it for so long that it at this point was second nature. Probably the worst incident though was when he asked how one of my classes was and I replied that it was okay, like what else was I supposed to say? He got annoyed at how I had said it. I tried to defend how I spoke, which he didn't like, and I ended up pinned against the stair railing with a 2-floor drop the other side. I'd feared for my safety before, but this time I genuinely feared for my life. It has scarred me, but I won't let it define me. I know how I shouldn't be treated, and I will not let it happen to me again, and I will make damn sure my future children will never have to go through what I did.
It happened 4 years ago now, but I still find it quite hard to cope with sometimes. I was 19, loved my job and college, and I was just genuinely enjoying life. At the beginning of 2015, a new guy started at work. He was very funny, energetic, and came across as a lovely guy. I accepted a few lifts home from him as we lived in the same direction and we really got on. He told me he was interested romantically, but I wasn't. I told him this nicely, and he was fine. Very understanding, and we just became really good friends. About 3 months after he started, we all went for a work drink, followed by a night out. He wasn't drinking as he was the designated driver. I was very drunk, but I trusted him, like I always did, to give me a lift home. That's when it happened. He went to kiss me and I pushed him away, saying, I told you, I don't see you that way. You're a great friend, but I'm not looking for anything romantic. He didn't listen to me and persisted. I kept pushing him off and I tried to leave the car, but he had locked it. He sexually assaulted me. I froze. It's like my soul had left my body. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I was just numb. He finished and unlocked the door and I left. He texted me saying if I told anyone he knows where I live and that he would kill me or hurt my family. I went home, got in the shower and cried for hours. I washed my skin with bleach. I could just feel him on me still, it was awful. I went to work the next day and he was acting like nothing had happened. This went on for months. I kept it to myself and kept my head down, until I found out I was pregnant. It never once crossed my mind that he could have gotten me pregnant. I felt a mixture of emotions, disgusted, scared, angry. I ended up going on a downward spiral, so I told my mum. She was heartbroken. We discussed in detail what I wanted to do, and I came to the decision that I wanted an abortion. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. The first time I went for it, I didn't go through with it, but I decided that it wasn't fair on me, or the baby. I would have seen that child as a product of what his father had done to me, and I would have been linked to him and reminded for the rest of my life. I never reported him. I feel guilty about that because I feel if he does it to another girl that it would be my fault. Knowing that he's still walking around scares me, but I feel there's such a stigma around sexual abuse that it's hard for people like me to come out and tell their story. That's the hardest part. Living with it. Getting close to potential partners, either thinking they're going to judge you when you tell them, or that they're going to do it to you too. It's something I'll never be able to forget, but for me it's just life now. And I don't think it's right for girls like me to think that way. It shouldn't be your life, and men like that shouldn't think it's right to take that away from you.
My stepdad came into my life when I was only a toddler. I can't remember him not being in our lives because of my young age. I don't remember much of the first years. I'm told by various family members that I loved him very much and that he was very fond of me too. My memories began from when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I have several distinctive memories that have always played on my mind. One time when I was only 7 years old, I saw my stepdad get so angry with my older brother that he began to strangle him. My brother was crying and red, squirming on the bed, gasping for air, whilst my mother was screaming for him to stop, grabbing his arms. Things moved on from that instant, but things began to change. My stepdad would almost hide our mum away from us. We were often ordered to stay in our rooms away from our mum. He had this move where he would grab the top of our arms and yank us, squeezing us so tight. There is another distinctive memory of a Christmas many moons ago. It had to have been only 7 or 8. My mum had severe illness that almost killed her. It was Christmas Eve and my mum was laid up in bed extremely poorly. My stepdad had her under what I can only describe as house arrest in her bedroom. He had very aggressively told us to stay out of her room, but my mum felt bad she couldn't do anything festive with us, so she asked me and my sibling to get into bed with her and watch a movie. When my stepdad saw us in bed with her, well, he did his move and yanked us out the room and literally shoved us onto our beds. My mum was so poorly she didn't even know what was going on. The next day, my mum was in hospital on a drip. There was often violent yanking, shoving, vicious, scary words. There was happy times too, but they became less frequent as time went on. My mum and stepdad's relationship ended with adultery on his behalf, but that didn't end our relationship with him. One Christmas we spent Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with him and his new family. I'd gotten a Nintendo DS and a game. I'd just opened it and was going to play with it when my new stepbrother snatched it off me and rubbed it in my face, and I asked for it back. My stepdad stormed over and told me off for not sharing, and when I said I wanted to play with it, he first pinned me against the sofa I was sitting on and screamed in my face. My mum then rang my stepdad asking what was going on. All throughout that time I was crying. He was shouting at me and getting in my face, squeezing my cheeks as he shouted at me. My brother was absolutely petrified. My brother, his biological son, got the worst treatment out of all of us. He was the youngest and the most impressionable. He was hit the most, even in public. We went out shopping with my stepdad and new family one time, and we were trying to get new trousers for my brother. He was only around 6 or 7 at the time. He was midway through trying on these trousers when he got slightly distracted looking somewhere in the distance. My stepdad proceeded to smack him so hard on his leg that he left a mark that didn't disappear for quite a while, long enough for my mum to see and have proof of the abuse. It wasn't just physical abuse that we all had to endure, but verbal abuse too. He would always get up in your face and shout so loud it would send shivers down your spine. I had counselling for years after. I attribute my anxiety to my ex-stepdad. I'm scared of getting close to people in the fear that they'll turn on me. I'm scared of seeing him more than anything because social services and courts got involved, and I think he'll try and hurt me if he sees me again. I still get upset to this day for how things turned out, but I've learned a lot about myself. I am a strong person, and I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through those things.